Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Trey Gowdy and it's Sunday night in America. Republicans are making progress implementing the president's legislative agenda.
Before we begin, I want to let you know what I was just doing in a really great meeting with Speaker Johnson to be updated on the progress of the one big, beautiful bill. We love that bill. I won't like it if it doesn't pass, neither will you.
The goals are lofty: extend tax cuts, bolster defense, border security, enhance energy independence, and rein in federal spending. But nothing is easy these days. As we've noted before, the House is not a monolith. It reflects the whole of the country, which means there are differences on Medicaid, SALT, defense spending, and the speed with which government is reduced. Those are good faith differences. It doesn't include the handful of drama kings and queens who just can't ever seem to get to yes without being coddled. 218 is the magic number, but Speaker Mike Johnson has pulled off a couple of magic tricks already this year. Let's hear from the man in the middle of everything, Speaker Mike Johnson. Welcome, Mr. Speaker. I don't know how many miracles it takes to be canonized, but I can count 3 legislative miracles that you have already pulled off this year. Do you have any more up your sleeve?
Those are the results of lots of patience and prayer, my friend. Great to be with you. We will get this job done, Trey. The stakes are too high. The possibility of failure is one that no one wants to face. So I think at the end of the day, we'll get everybody together. We had a great meeting at the White House on Thursday, as the president indicated. We're working very carefully, Trey, to keep the coordination very close with the White House, with our Senate Republican colleagues, and with the House itself. I think that's going to be the magic that gets us through this.
All right, Speaker. First, you have to gain consensus within your conference. You got Medicaid, you have SALT. Are there other issues that aren't being talked about that you also have to work through, or are those the 2 main issues?
Well, those are big parts of it, and of course the various components of the tax piece of this. And people say, why are you doing this all in one big, beautiful bill? Well, you know, to remind everyone, we're using the reconciliation process because the Democrats are in no mood to do anything for the country. You know, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate and Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats in the House, they have no interest whatsoever in solving problems. So we have to do it ourselves, and you have to use the budget reconciliation process to do it. It avoids the 60-vote threshold in the Senate. So that's why all these various components of the bill are put together, complex pieces of the bill. But we're going to solve this equation, Trey. We have to. Now, here's the progress report. Good news. Over the last week, 7 of our 11 committees of jurisdiction got their pieces of that big, beautiful bill done. And so we have 4 committees yet to go, and then we push it back through the Budget Committee to merge it all together and send it to the Senate. I put it on a very aggressive timetable because, Trey, we got to get this done for the people as soon as possible. It will send stability out there to the markets, the bond market, the stock market. It will allow job creators and innovators and entrepreneurs to know that their tax rates are stabilized and permanent going forward so they can plan accordingly. And it will be like jet fuel to the economy. So, and by the way, will prevent the largest tax increase in U.S. history, which is what would happen by default at the end of this year. Failure is not an option here. We'll get it done.
All right, Speaker, let's assume arguendo that you can keep all the frogs in the wheelbarrow on the House side. You still have to work with the Senate. Where does that stand? Negotiations between the House and the Senate.
We've had an ongoing process, and that's really key to this. You know, we meet, they call it the Big Six. We meet every week, and that's Leader Thune in the Senate and I, and our top lieutenants on the committees of jurisdiction, Senator Crapo in the Senate, Jason Smith of Ways and Means in the House, and the Treasury Secretary Besson is there, who's excellent. Kevin Hassett at NEC is there. So all the principal players on the key components of the tax piece of this and the things related to it, constant communication. Leader Thune and I meet and talk regularly, multiple times a week, because we understand this is a one-team effort. And I know that's an innovation, Trey. I mean, in Washington, the House and the Senate don't typically work together in that fashion, as you well know. But this is a new age and a new time. Our margins are small in both chambers, and we have no luxury of complacency about that. We got to work together as a team, and so far, so good. I'm really encouraged by that.
It'd be hard to find 2 nicer people in politics than you or John Thune. I think that also helps. But for those of us who won't ever be the Speaker of the House, Tell us how you handle it when one group comes to you demanding something that is diametrically different from what another group demands. I mean, I know you're a nice guy and people like you personally, but how do you reconcile people who have like diametrically opposing positions on something?
Well, look, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of time. We do a lot of listening. I mean, half my day I spend as a mental health counselor, as you know. It's not just Speaker of the House, it's multifaceted. But I love all these people, Trey. I love my colleagues. I know what makes them tick. I know how they think. We all have the same philosophy. It's just people have different tactics and different nuances about how to get to that end goal. So the job of the Speaker in this modern era is to bring them all together and let everybody understand at the end of the day, none of us are going to get 100% of what we want individually. It's a consensus building process, and so we spend a lot of time building consensus. I mean, hours and hours and hours in listening sessions, with whiteboard sessions, brainstorming, because this is a member-driven institution as it's supposed to be. And I've designed this, and what I'm trying to do, my leadership style is servant leadership, and I'm trying to let the members themselves guide the process. I'm directing it, you know, but it's not a top-down, it's bottom-up, and I think that's the secret to this at the end of the day. Everybody has a say, and we'll find that equilibrium point, the perfect point to make it happen.
You have a historically small margin. I have used the word miracles, but I cannot let you go without recognizing another miracle. Kelly married you a number of years ago. You just celebrated an anniversary. That might be the biggest miracle of all that you pulled off. So congratulations to you and Kelly on your anniversary.
Thank you, brother. We both married up. You know that. 26 years. She's still with me. God bless her.
Yes, amen to that. Speaker Mike Johnson, thank you for joining us on a Sunday night. God bless you and your wife.
You too, brother.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.